Kalvit, can you hear me? It's your turn. Kalvit, are you not there? Has he fallen asleep? Kalvit, are you not there? No, I think he can't hear. Kalvit, can you hear me? No, until Kalvit responds, some other person can take the chance and talk. Praveen or Mr. Madhuro or anyone. Kalvit, can you hear me? Okay, Mr. Madhuro, say something. I will send him a message.
Okay. Yesterday, day first day, the Security Council gave the suggestion decision about the between the Ukraine and Russian war, but he
Russia defeated using their veto power.
Yes, veto power. The decision defeated by Russia. He because he has veto power. Because he have veto power.
They have veto power.
Yes, because they have veto power. India also, because today BBC News highlighted India still not criticized about the Russian decision. Even China, because they have a strong economy agreement between this country. That's why they were not going to criticize the decision of the Russia. Boris Johnson, Prime Minister of the UK, who also criticized the
British Prime Minister.
British Prime Minister, who also criticized the decision of the Putin, the decision of Putin. But actually, the European Union and British government and even USA, they still not take the decision. What's the call?
They haven't taken a decision. They haven't taken a decision
to start the war against Russia. Because I read one news. Ukraine president requests military power and other help from other countries, but still not. They did not reply to them.
They haven't replied yet.
Still, they haven't replied.
They haven't replied yet.
They haven't replied yet to President of Ukraine. I think he removed some country leaders from his Twitter account. He finally
then he was left alone.
Yes, he was left. He has mentioned.
He was left alone.
Was mentioned. Yes, he was mentioned in his Twitter. He was what's the call? He was
left alone.
He was left alone. Actually, the war is what's the call? Tragedy.
War is horrible.
Horrible. Nature means tragedy.
No, nature again is sanguinary. War is sanguinary.
Sanguinary.
It's horrible and sanguinary.
Yes.
And it's against humanity.
Yes, humanity. Actually, these two countries should go to the decision, because if they continue to doing this war, definitely other country also will involve for this war. So because my my opinion is definitely they should go decision and they should discuss about that and come to the
they should come to common agreement.
Yes, common agreement. They always protect the other countries. I think there's some doubt about the Russia. That's why they come to talk about against Ukraine. That's why Russia, they have I think second largest military power of the world. The first is USA. The USA, I don't know exactly. Maybe USA. But second for military power has
first USA or China?
I don't know exactly.
China is third.
USA. That is also.
All right. Now, today I also saw on news that Russian president has requested the other supporting countries, other countries to shut their close their airspace to Russian fighter planes, Russian jets and fighter planes. Even USA president has declined it, saying that if they take such a decision, still they are not in a position. Still they are not in a position to close their airspace, and if they do so, they will have to involve directly to this war. They are still not involved directly. If they take such a decision like closing their airspace to Russian planes and Russian airplanes and fighter planes, that means they will have to involve directly to this war. If it happens, it will definitely lead to a world war.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't remember one news that I can't remember. I can't remember that one. The sad news. The world largest cargo flight also destroyed.
It was bombarded and destroyed. Yes.
Yes, it
Antonov.
was belong to
It's an Antonov.
It was belong to Ukraine.
It belonged to Ukraine.
It belonged to Ukraine. It was a sad news because they provide a better solution for countries' transport sector.
Yes, that plane has done a great service by by transporting goods, and it has given its service perfectly in many necessary occasions.
Right. Yes. And there is Sputnik and other vaccine prohibited USA and other countries.
Putin and
Sputnik can there's one
vaccine, Sputnik vaccine.
Vaccine, yes, yes. The prohibited by European and other countries.
Right. Then others, Tenula. Now let's ask Tenula. No, let's talk about the fuel problem, the dearth of fuel in our country. Let's ask Tenula what he thinks about this fuel problem in our country. Almit came and he's still connecting to audio. Almit is connecting to audio. Okay, Kalmit came. Wait, Kalmit, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry.
What happened?
I was going to turn on the mic, but the screen was stuck.
Right, now we can hear. Now it's your turn.
Okay, sir. I'll talk about the Ukraine, the history. So, when we talk about the Ukraine, so in Ukraine, there are 77.5% of Ukrainians and 17.2% of Russians. And Romanians are there 0.8%, and Crimean and Bulgarian, Hungarian, Polish nationals also are there in plus percentages. So Ukraine language is their mother tongue. it was it originated with Cossack, Slavic, and Nordic people, and the language started with them. And so the in Russian language, Russian Ukrainian language, the way they talk and the grammar grammars are very similar to Eurasian languages.
The way they talk and grammar are very similar to Eurasian language.
Are similar to Eurasian languages. So the Ukrainian history is going more than 1,000 years far.
Ukrainian history goes back more than 1,000 years.
More than 1,000 years. So Ukrainians live today. In Ukraine have come from the people called steppes. The steppes people have come from grasslands. And they are Sankramnika.
They are migrants.
They are migrants. And the people who migrated from Black Sea and Vikings also they are in Ukraine. The present Ukrainians are coming from them. So Ukraine, Ukraine, so they started Janapada Peetman. I can't remember the word.
They started establishing colonies.
They started establishing colonies, and when the Vikings arrived Ukraine, Vikings and the people called Slavic worked together, and they made their government, like they ruled Ukraine as collaborative. And so they named Ukraine as Kievan. The word is very difficult. Kievan Rus. So the Kievan Rus is Ukraine then. So in Ukraine zone, Eastern Orthodox Christianity was spread, and after that, after some years later, Eastern Christianity also was spread. And by now, in Ukraine, 72% of Ukrainian population they believe that Orthodoxy Christianity, and the other 8.8% believe Eastern Christianity, the Catholicism. So in 13th century, Mongolians came to Ukraine, and they spread their power in Ukraine. And so in 1237 to 1240 AC, at that time period, Mongolians invaded Ukraine and Kievan Rus. And a few years later, in 1225, they left that Kievan Rus and Eurasia. They went to another place. So after that, Lithuanians came there, and they spread their power. And Lithuanians named the Kievan Rus as Ruthenia. Ruthenia. So that is the name. After Kievan Rus, the Ukraine was called as Ruthenia. In 1569, Poland and Lithuania
Commonwealth.
They started the Commonwealth, and so the Ukraine was ruled by Poland.
Ukraine was
Ruled by Poland.
ruled by Poland.
And then, so while Poland was ruling Ukraine, from the other side, Russia was being developed, and Russia and some European powerful people was developing, and they developing to invade Ukraine. In 18th century, the eastern part of Ukraine was invaded by Russian kingdom. And so after the invasion of that part, the western side of Ukraine. In the western side of Ukraine, there were a little association, and they started fighting against Russian who in the eastern side of Ukraine. And so the fight today Russia faces is being ඔය තියෙන ෆයිට් එක ඒ කාලේ නම්ම තියෙන එකක්.
The present war has been existing since what year? Since when?
18th century.
The current war has been existing since 18th century. Right. Has been existing since 18th century.
So in 1856 to 1859, the Crimean semi-continent, the people lived in Crimean semi-continent,
subcontinent
started war against Russians, and Russians was defeated by them. Russians were defeated
by
Crimeans. Yes, and in 1917, as the Russian-Japanese War, and the First World War, the power of the Russians lose their power, and they were bankrupting. So some people in Ukraine took the advantages from this situation, the bankrupting of Russia, and they formed a council called Central Rada, and they spread their power in Kyiv, capital.
Kyiv.
Yeah. So as an answer for this, the people lived in the eastern side of Ukraine.
In answering this,
the people lived in the eastern side of Ukraine formed some political associations with the help of Russians. So they spread their power in Kharkiv, Ukraine. So after those things, in 1918, 16th January, Ukrainian announced their independence.
They announced their independence.
Independence, and they said they are not a colony of any
Russia.
country anymore. But having announced this, another war started. So that is, I think, that independence is not the real one. I think, as I remember, in 1991 is the year this ඇත්තටම නිදහස ලැබුණේද?
1991 is the year when they were granted true independence.
1991 is the year when they granted the true independence.
When they were granted. Huh?
Yeah, that's all.
Right, very good. It's a slow but meaningful talk. Good. Tenula, let's ask Tenula what he thinks about the current fuel problem, the earth of fuel. Tenula, you can say something.
Yes, sir. The one ship is anchored in our
A ship is anchored in our harbor.
Without the earth of the dollars.
Without the earth of dollars?
We should pay dollars for that.
They should be paid. They should be paid to issue fuel, but they have not been paid yet.
Yes, they should
They are,
be.
they are not going
dollars.
to issue. They are not going to issue fuel until they are paid by dollars.
Yes.
Until they are paid by dollars. And another ship is supposed to reach the country by tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 2nd of March or 3rd of March. Another ship of
Yes.
ship with diesel.
The uses of petrol and diesel are increased because of the electric power cuts.
The necessity, no, not the usage. The necessity of petrol and diesel has increased.
The necessity of petrol and diesel is increased.
Has increased because of the dearth.
Yes, because of the dearth of the power cut, electricity. People collect fuel for generators and other electronic generator devices to their works in power cuts. And
what about private buses? Now more than 50% of private buses are off their duty. More than 50% of private buses have come to a standstill. They are not working. And I think the bus owners organization has announced that if they are not given either a fuel concession or any solution to this problem, all the buses won't be able to. All the buses will be out of service in the next coming 3 days. Within 3 days, they will be out of service.
Yes, sir, but in today news I saw the bus travel ministry told
Transport minister.
The transport minister told they illum karna
requesting.
They requesting a special request fuel quota to public buses and private buses.
The transport minister has said that they were requesting, they were requesting the government to grant them a special fuel quota for public and private buses.
Yes, in today, yes, and the other reason for the fuel dearth.
The other reason for the dearth of fuel.
another reason for dearth of fuel,
No, not another. I said the other reason for the dearth of
dearth of
fuel is
fuel is in these days,
these days.
farmers are cropping
Their harvest.
their harvest. So they wanted to lot of petrol and diesel for their
Harvesting machines
harvesting machines.
like Bhutia.
Yes, like Bhutia. Yeah, another one is the electricity.
Mhm. Electricity board. Electricity board.
I can't remember. The electricity board didn't pay money for the fuel get
Yes, we
from
can say.
the
Yes, we can say the electricity board is indebted to the CPET Petroleum Corporation. The electricity board is indebted to Petroleum Corporation. May I give again? Again?
the electricity board is indebted to CPETCO,
Petroleum to the Petroleum Corporation.
the Petroleum Corporation. So they didn't have the corporation didn't have enough money for
Enough money to
get-
issue fuel to the electricity board.
yes, enough money for issue electric
To issue fuel.
Today the cabinet ministries no the cabinet අනුමැතිය කියන්නේ
The cabinet approval was given.
The cabinet approval was given to
What?
get fuel from African country,
Nigeria.
No. Emirate. No. I
Emirates
can't
is not
remember
Africa. Emirates is a Middle East country. Emirates.
I can't remember the name.
Okay, whatever. Okay, go ahead.
Tenders for getting fuels in 3 months. Fuel for 3 months. And the fuel, the Russian and Ukraine war is
the war between Russia and Ukraine.
The war between Russia and Ukraine is the other main reason for the fuel dearth.
Now they are making it a reason. Now they have found another excuse.
Yes, the American countries and European countries blocking their transportation with Russia. So the Russia is Russia is also the main provider of fuels.
Fuel and gas.
Fuel and gas
to Europe region.
Yes, fuel and gas to Europe region. So they block their.
If Russian supplies are blocked, the prices will again be increased. Crude oil.
The crude oil in today world market crude oil.
The crude oil price is
increased than $100.
Increased by $100.
No. In dollar සියට වඩා වැඩි.
The price of crude oil barrel has increased more than $100.
the price of crude oil barrel increased more than $100. That's all, sir.
Right, good. Okay, now time is 10:30.